Welcome to another edition of Jules Voto's Photo Focus. In this video, I'm going to be talking about selecting and using vintage manual focus lenses on mirrorless cameras. Now, I love mirrorless cameras. I love my Nikon mirrorless cameras, and there's many advantages to them. And one of my favorite things is the ability to mount so many old manual focus lenses that date from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and newer. And you could pick up a lot of these lenses really cheap, and it enables you to experiment with a lot of different focal lengths and a lot of different brands. Now, in front of me here, I have the Nikon F to Z adapter I have actually mounted a Nikon AFD lens, which means it's an autofocus lens, but this particular lens requires an autofocus motor in the body, but it will manually focus just fine on a Nikon mirrorless camera or any mirrorless camera with the proper adapter. I also have a K&F Concept Nikon adapter for Nikon F to Z. This will enable me to use any manual focus Nikon F-mount lens on my Z-mount cameras. I have an adapter here. It is a Photossi L39 to Nikon Z, and that will take old Leica screw thread lenses. Okay, and this particular lens I have in my hand here is a 55mm 2.8 Russian lens that was originally designed, I believe it was for a Fed Leica copy, a Russian Leica copy of the old Leica rangefinders, the screw mount rangefinders. I have another adapter here, and a lot of these adapters are Photossi adapters. You could pick these up really cheap. I think I paid like $15 for most of these. This is a Photossi OM to NZ adapter, so it will allow you to use the old manual focus Olympus OM1 lenses from the early 70s and later. Here's another one here. It is an MD to NZ adapter, and that is for Minolta, either MC or MD bayonet mount lenses going all the way back to the early 60s. Here's a Canon FD adapter, but it also will take the old FL lenses from the 60s. And I also have a Photossi M42 to NZ adapter, and that is for M42 screw mount lenses, Pentax lenses. The Helios lenses, which you could pick up really inexpensively. I've done some videos. Most of these lenses I have done videos on, and check out my video on the Helios. You could pick these up so cheap, $40, $50, $75, depending on condition and where it's coming from. A lot of these are overseas. Actually, I'm holding the Takamar right here. Here is the Helios. But so I recently did a video on that, and I'll put a video in the description below to that Helios. So that gives you so many options with lenses. You could do so much experimenting, and buying used lenses, old lenses, you got to be careful. Some of these lenses are 60 years old. Some of the big retailers online, such as Adorama and B&H and KEH, and there's several others, they will give you a money-back guarantee or even a short warranty, 90 days maybe. Each company gives you a different type warranty. So, that gives you some peace of mind. If you go into a camera store, you're just, and if you can find the camera store these days, or if you're at a thrift store or a flea market, you really want to check out the lens, make sure the focus ring turns smoothly, make sure the aperture operates, make sure you don't see any oil on the aperture blades, and of course you're going to look at the lens for any scratches or defects. But you could get some of these lenses so cheap. I've paid $10, $15, $20 for a lot of them. Yes, you could pay more. This Canon FD 1.4, the 50mm 1.4, the new FD, which is an excellent lens, even wide open. I think I paid like $120 for this one. I think mirrorless cameras have a big advantage over film cameras for manually focusing. And two reasons for that. One is focus peaking, and I'm going to show you in a minute more about focus peaking, but most mirrorless cameras have that, where the in-focus areas, the edges of the in-focus areas light up in a color of your choice. The Nikons have 4 different colors to choose from. Like I said, I'm going to show you that in a minute. But also, you have the option of a magnified view, and you can enlarge a section of the view through your electronic viewfinder, and makes it very easy to focus. The way I have my Nikon set up, I just press the OK button on the back, and whatever focus point was selected, now that focus point isn't, you don't have the ability to autofocus with it, but you can select the focus point, put it over, for example, let's say the eye of a portrait subject, press the OK button, and it will enlarge that 100%, and which makes focusing very easy. Okay, at least with Nikon, the first thing you need to do when you want to use one of these manual lenses is input non-CPU lens data. You need to put the focal length of the lens as well as the maximum aperture. And the reason you do that, it allows you to take advantage of the IBIS, the in-body image stabilization in the lens. And that's another great feature of using these lenses with mirrorless cameras, is you have the ability to use in-body image stabilization. Okay, so here's a scene of my standard test setup, and you can see on the left here, it's a 105 millimeter lens that I put in, and I'm moving the focus box around. We're going to go to the eye. There we go. And now I'm going to start focus. And you could see some red outlines on some of the cameras, on the hair. And looks like it was a little off. So now I went to 100% magnification by pressing the OK button on the back of the camera. I set it up for that. And it enables me to enlarge to 100% whatever is under that focus box. I can move the focus box anywhere on the screen. I could have moved it to the left, to the right, on the flowers, whatever, if that's what I want to focus on, and then press that button, the OK button, and it enlarges it to 100% for focus. All right, so now you also have, I told you there were 4 colors. With Nikon, it's red, yellow, blue, or white. There's also different sensitivity. I usually keep it at 1 because when you go to 3, it seems like everything lights up in red. So I think it's better to use peak 1. I'm sure other cameras would work a little differently, but I believe you do have those choices, similar choices. So now I just set it to blue, to B, and you could see the outlines are in blue. So it's a really useful feature. So I think those two things, the focus peaking and being able to enlarge the view, really makes it easy to focus these lenses. Now, if you have a moving subject, I always say you want to shoot a high-speed lens on a moving subject, even a child or even a portrait subject who's not staying still. An autofocus camera with an autofocus lens is preferable. But in many other situations, it's really nice to have that focus peaking and also the magnified view to really assist with accurate focus. Now, one other thing I just want to point out, some of these lenses focus in a different direction than the others. Nikon and Pentax focus in one direction. So with a Nikon lens, if you want to focus closer, you turn it to the left, same as a Pentax lens. With a Canon lens, if you want to focus closer, you turn it to the right. And that holds true for Canon, Minolta, Leica, Olympus, I believe. Yes. So that could get a little confusing. So usually what I do if I'm going out to shoot with some of my manual focus lenses, I may stick with, carry my adapter for the Nikon, carry an adapter, let's say, for the Pentax, because they focus in the same direction, and go out on another day with an Olympus lens, let's say. And the reason for that is if you're focusing, especially on, if it's a little bit of action or something, and you may get confused, pick up the Minolta lens after you just had the Nikon lens on, and you may miss focus if something is moving, if it's something you want to capture quickly. And you can get some of these lenses so inexpensively, and the adapters are so inexpensive. So if you have a mirrorless camera, give it a shot. So that's about it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. I always try to respond to all questions and comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I usually publish a new video every Monday morning and Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.